But I had on my mind a question that was brought up in the live question and answer I gave last night. Or somebody had asked about, is it possible to solve or deal with a really difficult composite chart? I was thinking about some of the most challenging aspects, elements of how we relate to each other that can come up in composite charts that can make a successful, mutually fulfilling relationship really hard. And I was thinking mostly about Sun and Mars aspects, hard aspects to Pluto. There's other difficult aspects that we can deal with, a lot of other difficult aspects we can deal with. But in particular, is really contemplating how the hard aspects between Sun or Mars and Pluto can bring up an unusual amount of resentment, feeling attacked, and hatred can be something that circulates heavily in a relationship that has like Sun or Mars square to Pluto, opposite to Pluto. That one will really bring out any extremes that already exist in our own self. When it comes to needing to prove ourselves or have our validity or the way that we want to be seen or validated, approved, these are really difficult aspects to deal with because it pits our ego selves against each other, and there's a lot of resistance. We don't like the way that the other person views us or regards us or validates us. So we fight back and we use the tools that are used on us. This will bring out the most plutonic tendrils in your nature. It's worse for others than for some. Sometimes we can get into relationships and we are both in a really good place when it comes to our self-esteem, the ability to control ourselves, our own impulses, how we treat people. We can get a better outcome out of this kind of combination. If we're young people, especially in our 20s or our 30s, it's going to be less likely that we are going to have a consistently happy experience with each other. It can still happen, but we're going to have to do a great deal of growing and a great deal of forgiving while we're in the process of figuring this kind of dynamic out, because we're trying to squash each other so we can get the other person to see us in a way that makes more sense to us. And the aggression and the tools that we use on each other is just more force. It's more pressure. It's more resistance. And it builds a competition into the relationship. Yes, Joelle, this will show up with the semi-square, but it's going to be less overt. That's going to be something that throws a plutonic tendril into things. Yes, 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 but it's more covert, and that's not necessarily better. It means that it might be able to proliferate longer within the relationship as more of an undercurrent that is still not healthy, but it may not call all of your attention to it as a flashing red light on the dashboard of your relationship that you have to fix. So it doesn't, just because we have more covert or less attention grabbing things going on in our natal chart or our relationship charts. That doesn't necessarily mean better, because it can be like more of a chronic problem or chronic cancer that is allowed to proliferate, because again, it's not acute enough for us to say, all right, I'm going to deal with this. And so we have to bring more of our conscious attention to the semi-squares, the sesquiquadrates, the other hard aspects in our natal chart and in our relationship charts. And usually that's going to be after we solve or bring our attention to or bring some kind of balance or healing to the things that are really hitting the fan. So we tend to look at things in our natal and in our relationships in terms of, in order, in terms of what is most wrong. Where does our energy need to be directed the most? And then after we get some hold on that, we can look at something else that may need to be addressed or shored up or fixed. So the way that we go about treating each other, because we feel that we have just been misaligned or seen in a way that's not life affirming or ego forming, the way that we respond to that and treat the other person is out of alignment with respect. It's out of alignment with what we just wanted to get. And so we have this feeling of feeling so justified in eye for an eye kind of attitude in relationships with these very difficult aspects. The competition between the two of us is destructive. We can have a certain amount of friendly competition that is in service to our larger goal of being able to love each other, in a functioning relationship. We can have some amount of friendly friction, but the kind of friction that these kinds of aspects bring, actually, it isn't healthy if we're not working with it correctly. It contributes to both people being broken down. And we have to take responsibility for how we are treating each other, because we feel like, all right, you just said something to me or saw me in a certain way or treated me in a certain way or forced me in a certain way or communicated something to me, in a way that, you don't approve. It was disrespectful. And so I'm going to teach you a lesson. And so one of us has to have enough maturity and a presence of mind to not be reactive. The reactivity that excuse me. Oh, I love sneezing so much. The reactivity that ping pongs back and forth when we have these difficult Sun, Mars, Pluto aspects. And difficult aspects between Sun and Mars are not specifically what I'm talking about. I'm talking more about Sun or Mars to Pluto. The conjunction can be difficult, depending. The opposition, the square, the minor hard aspects, all very difficult, because that's where we're going to see the direct competition and conflict of libido, purpose, passions. So kindness has to be something that we employ rather than defense and force. We really have to be the example of kindness, tenderness, and acceptance of the other person as they are, even if they don't see us the way that we want to be seen. Leave yourself out of it. Because the more that we try to force the issue and say, no, I want you to look at me this way, or that's not right, or how can you even think that about me? We are actually reinforcing their idea that we're uncooperative or that our ego is in the mix. We're giving them more reasons to have ammunition against us. And so we have to learn to diffuse the situation with leaning in with questions or curiosity or with openness to what it is that they have said or reflected to us. So this would be a type of situation where, say you have two people with a Sun-Pluto square, a couple, there's a Sun-Pluto square, or opposition in the composite chart. The oppositions actually just tend to be even more explosive. So we're working on a lawnmower together, let's say. And one of us has got the wrench and we're doing the manual work, and the other one is sitting there holding the nuts and bolts. So the one person and the person that's got the wrench and is doing the work, now they're asking, all right, I need the big bolt now, or shh, stop it, leave the kitty alone, leave her alone, shh, shh, right now. They definitely have a sun moon Pluto opposition, these two, Violet and the cat. Oh my gosh. So the person that's sitting there holding the nuts and the bolts, say they hand the person that's got the wrench is doing the work on the lawnmower the wrong part, the wrong bolt. And the person that's doing the work is like, that's not the one I asked for. I've got my hands full here. I can't be doing the one that's looking. That's your job. I need you to give me the right one. And so we have a couple of options here as the one that's on the receiving end of that shortness. We can either get offended, which we usually will. We'll take it personally. Be like, I'm sitting here. I want to be inside eating. I came out here to sit here in the cold so you could fix the lawnmower. I'm holding the nuts and the bolts. I'm doing the best I can. The least you can do is not treat me like a jerk when I accidentally give you the wrong one. That is the typical response. And then the other person's going to be like, what are you even doing out here? If you're going to come out here, I don't even want your help if you're going to be a jerk. Go back inside. You'd be like, I don't even know why I came out here in the first place. This is the kind of argument that this leads to. And so we have the other option where when the person is working on the lawnmower, they're like, hand me the big bolt. I'm ready for that one. And then you accidentally hand them the wrong one. And then they're like, I got my hands full. I can't look up. I can't be the one. I had you out here so you could help me. I need you to give me the right one. And they're like, all right, I'm sorry. I get it. You don't take it personally. You don't reflect back that you don't appreciate in a confrontational way. You don't reflect back that that's not who I am. That's not what I'm doing. We look more at, oh, all right, well, you're being kind of crab. And I can see that you do have your hands full. And you can't look up. And I'm just going to let that go and hand you the bolt. So, but we also have to be aware that we cannot allow ourselves to be diminished or disrespected or abused. And so we decide which time are we going to compassionately let it go, because we realize that Yeah. Yeah. You do have a lot going on here. And I'm just going to hand this to you and let you do the work. And then other times where we are going to have less aggressive of a return and say something like, hey, what's up, Mr. Ogre? Sorry. I'll take that one back and give you the right one. And so we can communicate in a way that is not aggressive. That, hey, I'm doing my best here. Or we could even say something like, hey, I'm doing my best here. Came out here. I could be inside eating English muffins. Let's be appreciative, Mr. Ogre. Or might have to leave you to this on your own. There are ways that we can reflect that really wasn't necessary. Without, again, stirring up more trouble. We always stir up more trouble with our reactions to the other person's disrespect. And a lot of times it will actually be pretty harsh, what we are getting. But we have to put the love over winning. We want to win so bad with these Mars, Sun, Pluto aspects. We want to win. We feel like the other person is trying to diminish us, or they're a threat to our ego. So we need to really ask ourselves, do I want to harmonize and love this harmonize and understand with and love this person, or do I want to win? If we want to win, then that's showing us a lot of why we're in that relationship. So that's all I have time for today. I am taking clients. Check over at my website if you want to get an appointment. And I am starting to run courses again. A new modules coming up in February. Synastry course every Saturday. Natal chart practice course, transits practice. Then I'll be running a few therapy groups. One for Neptune issues, one for Pluto issues. So if you're interested in that, contact me over at my website, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.